Welcome to the third and final section of this Senior Seminar Capstone Series project. For the first two portions of this project, we have gone over pre-production and production work, both with audio and video techniques and tips that I have gained and received. Then we moved on to live event production, where we got a glimpse of Philadelphia Hockey Club coverage and what live event production in the sports industry looks like, with a little glimpse of hockey coverage. And now finally we're here into the third and final step of the production process and the third and final section of this Capstone Series project. We're moving on to the world of editing and post-production. Today I'm going to be teaching you some of the tips, techniques, and skills that I have learned here at my time at Rowan, and what I think is necessary for students, especially within the radio, television, and film department, to understand and learn. The first portion of this section, I'm going to talk a little bit about the resources that we will be using and going over, not only in today's section, but applications that you should know about here at your time at Rowan. The first we're going to talk about is Adobe Premiere Pro. Adobe Premiere Pro is the video production resource that we use here at Rowan. It's professionally used, to be honest. It's one of those resources that everybody in the industry looks and is something that everyone should have a skill in when it comes to production. The second resource that I'm going to be discussing about today is Adobe Audition. Adobe Audition goes over the audio side of the production world. Mainly you can use Adobe Audition when you think of Adobe Premiere Pro. They go hand in hand with the production industry. A little bit more about Adobe Premiere Pro. Adobe Premiere Pro is one of those resources that we can use for a lot of our video production work. We can make full-length films out of it. We can edit TV shows. We can edit anything basically that has a video production element to it. We can find our way into working Adobe Premiere Pro into it. A little bit more about Adobe Audition. You have really a lot of tools that help with audio. We'll go over a couple of those tips and techniques today that I have learned here that I think are really key if you want to excel in Adobe Audition, and something that you should really look for to excel in with when you're editing your projects here at Rowan. With that being said, let's move into my 5 tips that I have when it comes to going over video and audio production here at Rowan University using both Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe Audition. The first thing that everyone should avoid when it comes to editing your projects is jump cutting. For those that do not know, jump cutting refers to when the camera angle is changed in the middle of an action and results in a transition that does not feel right and looks a bit out of place. Let's take a look at a quick example. All right, so we're outside here now. Obviously, cuts here in section 3. All about editing, and easier to show you a little bit of an example of a jump cut rather than talk about it a little bit more. So here we are now. Obviously, what did I mean by a jump cut when I said try to avoid jump cuts as much as possible? Now that we've seen what a bad jump cut looks like, let's take a look at the actual example. All right, so we're outside here now. Obviously, we had introduced a little bit about jump cuts here in section 3, all about editing and post-production, but I figured it'd be easier to show you a little bit of an example of a jump cut rather than talk about it a little bit more. So here we are now. Obviously, what did I mean by a jump cut when I said try to avoid jump cuts as much as possible? What I mean by that is, obviously we see here now that the camera angle has changed. The second major tip that I have on the video side is to always check your focus. Some of your footage from the field may be a tad blurry and may need work to be finished on the post-production side. In these types of situations, Adobe Premiere Pro has great tools and tips that can allow you to adjust these type of mishaps in the field. A perfect example is the Sharpen tool within Adobe Premiere Pro. What the Sharpen tool in Adobe Premiere Pro will allow you to fix these problems. Let's take a look at an example of how sharpening tools can help with a project. If you take a look here at this quick clip, we can see that the subject is a little out of focus and does not show the full details of his face. With the Sharpen tool that can be found in the Video Effects feature within Adobe Premiere, we can now click on the clip, add the Sharpen tool, and sharpen the footage ever so slightly so that the subject is not in soft focus anymore to the naked eye and looks completely in focus. On the audio side of production, one thing that you always want to be cautious of when it comes to audio is peaking levels. Now, for people that may not be aware of audio production, what happens is when you plug in an audio source to a camera, you have the power with the knobs on the side of the camera to adjust how high or how low the volume of your audio is. On a typical normal shoot, you're going to want your audio level to be between negative 12 decibel and negative 6 decibel. What may happen at times is that your audio becomes at negative 3 decibel. Now, what happens when you shoot at negative 3 decibel is that your audio becomes deteriorated, which can cause problems when it comes to your projects. So when we see that the levels are at about negative 3 on the scale, this means that the audio from when it was recorded was way too loud and was peaking and needs to be some way adjusted. With the help of audio gains in the Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe Audition programs, you'll be able to fix these minor problems. The other key tip that I have for learning and creating clear sounding audio without having to worry about background noises, whether it be a humming noise or while you were filming and the fridge went off, you can go into your audio work and use notch filters. Notch filters allow you to reduce the levels of background noises within your project and within your audio files to let in only the audio that you want to let in into your shot. Well, those are my 5 final tips that I have for you today in the world of editing and post-production. Obviously, we have gone over such things as notch filters. We went over audio gain. Both of those audio production skills that are something that I've had trouble with in the past, and having gained the knowledge with these skills, I've been able to excel and fix most of my mistakes, and have been able to work on and progress far enough that I think I am capable of producing great quality work. Especially here at Rowan this past senior year, I've been able to put together those techniques and skills to put together really great quality audio work, in my opinion. Obviously, again, with the video production, we talked about jump cuts and how to avoid them. They are really something that a lot of students think that don't happen in the field, but unfortunately sometimes accidents happen. Sometimes maybe the footage, what you thought was really good footage, ended up having to be snipped and cut, and unfortunately there just had to be a jump cut. We try to avoid jump cuts as much as possible, which is why I found it to be really key and important that I brought it up here in the editing and post-production world. Obviously, we have several other key techniques and skills that we went over in the video production side, and I think they were all really helpful and useful for my skills, and I hope they are helpful and useful for you as well. Obviously, again, we went over 2 of the major key programs that you will use here at Rowan University. We went over Adobe Audition and Adobe Premiere Pro, something that I think are very key when it comes to looking into your production field. If you're trying to get in the world of editing, knowing both of those softwares is extremely key. Obviously, with this being the 3rd and final section of the Senior Seminar Capstone Series project, we have gone through the entire world of production. With section 1, we talked about all things pre-production, going over all of the audio and video techniques that I have learned and putting them together into my 5 simple and helpful tips for you. Section 2, we went into the production world. We got a chance to see a glimpse of a hockey shoot where we went into the world of live event production. Live event production is something truly unique and special, and if you have a chance to do it, do it, please. Live event production is one of those skills that not a lot of people have, but it is a skill that a lot of people should. Live event production is, yes, it may at times be a little crazy, but it is one of the best experiences you'll have in the production world. And finally, here in section 3, we talked about all things post-production, like I said, and editing. With that being said, that concludes the third and final section of the Senior Seminar Capstone Series project. With that being said, I would like to take this time to thank all of the faculty and staff and my classmates for allowing me to excel here at Rowan University and teaching me the techniques and skills that I needed to learn to be able to put together one of these great projects. Two of the programs that I'd like to specifically mention is the Sports Communication and Media major, along with the Radio, Television, and Film major. With that being said, this is William Voigt signing off for one last time. Thank you again for tuning in to all 3 sections of the Senior Seminar Capstone Series project.